Welcome back, everyone. Now it's time to summarize or summarization. Okay? Why do we summarize and what do we summarize? When we subnet, this is where we're coming from, subnetting. All right. And we did classful subnetting, classless, meaning like VLSM. All right. When we subnet, we take a huge network, all right, and we break it up into little pieces. That's what we're doing. When we're summarizing, we're taking a bunch of little networks and putting them as one, and to get something called a summary address. And what's the purpose of that summary address? Well, remember the Cisco 3-layer, now 2-layer model, right? The Cisco collapse architecture. Well, the whole point is to forward or to send or to update that core router from our distribution or access routers, that summary address through the use of our routing protocol. All right, and you're going to see that happen. All right, what's going to happen is, because this core router, my God, he has this huge routing table, right? But he doesn't need to know all the small little LANs that are down there. He just needs to know one address that encompasses all those LANs, so he knows where to send it, where to go. A lot quicker, more efficient. So this is the reason that we summarize. Don't get this confused when we do our routing protocol, which we'll explain when we get to that portion of the course, that they summarize by default, meaning they turn that network into the classful boundary. No, this is taking a bunch of networks, which I already have prepared for you, all right, and we're going to summarize them the easiest way, which is through binary, all right, and then get a brand new mask and a summary address. And that summary address will then go ahead and we'll actually put it in a lab, and you'll see the change, the difference. What happens when we summarize an actual network? We update the core router with this summary address. The routing table will come down tremendously, and that's just going to make it more efficient, because remember, core routers pass information across fast. That's why we don't mess around with core routers. So not only is it going to reduce the routing table on the core routers, it's going to reduce the packet size. It doesn't have to send all these different things. And your routing will be more efficient, more efficient. So that is the reason. That is why we summarize. So I'll see you in the next one. We'll get to it. All right. This is the problem, or problems, I should say, because there's 3 of them. If I can get my finger to work. There's the third one down there coming up. All right, we're going to go inside our lab. I'm going to break this down. We're going to do it together. Okay? And we're going to see, I'm going to explain where I got these numbers from. And then we're going to actually acquire a summary address. I'll see you inside the lab. All right, everyone. We're in the lab. We're going to go ahead and summarize these networks. All right. We're going to start with the first one. As you can see, I already saved some time, and I turned each of the third octets, these third octets right here, I turned them into their binary formats. 1 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. So what you need to do is to look from left to right, because the line, okay, we need to find where we draw the line, right? Because right now the line is here, right, by 24. Well, it needs a new line. So we go from left to right, and we say, well, all zeros, all zeros, all zeros, all zeros, all zeros. Oh no, we have zeros and ones, uncommon bit values. So our new line is right there. So the first 2 octets, they remain the same. So they're 10.1. Now we got to ask ourselves, is there anything on to the left of that line? They're all zeros. So guess what? This is a 0. All right. And then the 4th octet, which is not here, obviously, is .0 as well. All right. As you can see, it was here. It's all zeros anyway. I just didn't put up there. But what's our new mask? Well, we have 8, and 8 is 16. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So our new mask is 21. So this is what we call the summary address. because it encompasses all the networks that exist within this network. All these little networks are inside here. Okay? And this is what we're going to use in our lab to advertise to the core router. So let's go to the next one. All right, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to say, okay, we're in the third. We turned it into binary. As you can see, we turned them all into binary, 8, 9, 10, and so forth. Okay, so now we go from left to right. So we go, okay, all zeros, all zeros, all zeros, all zeros, all ones. They're not different. They're just ones all the way down. But here we have the combination. They're uncommon to each other. So again, the line is right here. All right, so we have 10.1, 10.1.8.0 with a 21, right? Why is it 8? Because the 8 is on. It's all on. So we have to put it up. We have to put it there. If not, you will get an error. You will get an error. All right, so let's go to the last one. And the last one is pretty much the same thing. I turned the third octet into binary format for you already. No big deal. No big deal. All right, just turn the bit values to create your number. 16 and 1 is 17. 16 and 2 is 18, and so forth and so forth and so forth. So now we got to go from left to right. Left to right. See, all zeros, all zeros, all zeros, all ones, all zeros. Uh-oh, uncommon bit values. Line again in the same place. Hey, it is what it is. So we go 10.1.16, not 165, 16.0 with a /21. And this is our summary address. I don't think we wrote it up there. This is our summary address. I don't know if I wrote that correctly. Summary address. Let's write it there so we know what it is. Summary address. All right, and let's save that. All right, how do we save that? Control S. Okay, so now we have this saved. So now we know what the summary address is. Now it's time to use it in the lab. I'll see you outside. All right, that wasn't so bad. You see, binary is the easiest way. We took each one of these networks and we took the third octet and we turned it into binary. And when we saw the uncommon bit values, that's where we drew our line. Just so happens that our line fell, they're all 21s, right? Because we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's our line. There's the uncommon values. And the same thing goes for the rest. The only difference is in this first one, nothing's on to the left of the line. But in the ones at the bottom, we have the 8 that's completely on. So we use the 8. And we have the 16 that's completely on. So we use the 16. So we acquired these summary addresses by turning that third octet into binary. Now all we need to do is to take this summary address and put it into action. I'll see you there. Alrighty, this is our summary lab. This is what we're going to go ahead and actually advertise those summary addresses we just got to make sure that that our core router has a small routing table. So I'll see you inside the lab. All right, here we are in our summarization lab. We already have the summary addresses. Now we need to put them into use. And this is the reason why we want to summarize. Let's take a look at that headquarters router. All right, let's maximize that. Oh my God, I already had done it anyway. Show IP route, let's do it anyways, just so you can see that that's something from before. Look at all those LANs that core router is learning from EIGRP. There's no reason for that. So we're going to fix that problem by advertising through the interface that's facing the core router that summary address. So let's go ahead and do that now. Let's maximize the screen. And we're going to go config T and interface S0/1/0. And we go IP I tabbed, obviously. Summary address. What do you want next? The only thing packet traces reports. EIGRP. What autonomous system? 51. What do you want next? Well, what's the IP address of the summary address? Oh, 10.0.0.0. Well, what's the mask? 255.248.0. Remember, so 21. Now, you could put administrative distance here. We are not. And I'm doing this on purpose. I want you to see what happens when you don't put an administrative distance. All right, I'm going to hit enter. And new adjacencies should start forming. And they are. I did a do WR. You got to do a copy run start from privilege mode. Let's go to the second router. Do the exact same thing. All right, I'm going to do a config T. Interface S0/1/0. And then I'm going to do IP, summary address, EIGRP 51, the summary address, which is 10.1.6.8.8.0, 255.255.248.0, enter. Now, if you're making a mistake here, your router is going to let you know, hey, wrong answer, buddy boy. You got the wrong summary address. All right, so that's done there. Let's go ahead and go into the last router and go into that particular interface. And I made it where the interfaces are the same. That way, you don't have to worry about which interface it is. You already know it. All right, so interface S0/1/0. The purpose of the lab is for summarization, now that you know how to get into an interface. IP, summary address, then the routing protocol, EIGRP, autonomous system is 51. The summary address is 10.1.16.0, 255.255.248.0, hit enter. And I'm going to copy that, do WR. So we did our job now. We went inside each interface that's facing the core router. Now let's see, you can see there's new adjacencies that were being formed here at the core router. All right, and let's take a look. Show IP route. Maybe it's taking a little bit of time. Maybe I did something wrong, because you can see the one network is still advertising all its routes. The 8 and the 16 are a summary route, but the 1 is not taking effect. So let's go back to the 1. Okay, let's go back to the 1. And let's see what happened there. 25. Oh, this is why. Look what I did here. Look what I did here. Then instead of 10.1 and 10.0. Very easily. So we're going to say no, since you're already inside the interface. And we're going to copy paste this line right here. All right, I'm going to copy. And then we're going to paste it. All right, because that network does not exist. And then we're going to type it again. IP summary. Whoa, wrong answer. No IP summary EIGRP. Okay, incomplete command, whatever. IP summary address. All right, and then it's EIGRP, the autonomous system 51, 10.1.0.0, 255.255.248.0. Hit enter. Do WR. Okay, so let's see if that took effect. All right, there's the new adjacency that came up. Let's go back to the core router. Let's maximize it. And let's take a look. And you see adjacencies that are being formed. Let's do an up arrow. And boom, there is our 3 networks. So we made a mistake. We made a mistake in router number 1, where we actually put 10.0.0 instead of 10.1.0. So be very careful. I'm just trying to do things a little bit too quick, and that's what happens. All right, so try to be fast, but be detailed. Be detailed in what you're doing. But the purpose of it is know what a summary address is and know how to summarize. It's taking a bunch of smaller networks, turning it into one major or 2 major networks, and then advertising that particular summary address to a core router, a stub router, an edge router to make routing more efficient, so it doesn't have to look at that many routes in the routing table. I'll see you outside the lab. Can't get any simpler than that. Very easy to do. Boom. We went to the core router, or we advertised to the core router, and take a look. 3, right? We got 3 actual networks that we're getting. Not like before, that thing was woo, huge, right? Now all we got are 3. By simply, and I'm just going to click here. I know I'm in your way. I'm going to get out now. I'm just going to show you what we did when we were in the lab. So it's a little reminder. Okay. Okay. What happened? Did we do a WR? Pretty sure we did. Do it again. Or maybe I'm just going too fast. Hey. There it is right there. Simply by doing this line right here, right? We do IP summary address, the running protocol that we're using, the autonomous system, the network, the summary address, which is that dotted decimal numbering, even though we had a CIDR. And remember, I told you this already in the lab. This number is there by default. It is the administrative distance of a summary route. That's why it takes over. Okay? So just by doing that, see the importance? Now the routing table on the core router is small. Now I can switch things a lot quicker. Only needs to look at one address to send it to different LANs. All right? That was the whole key to this lab. I'll see you in the next one. All right, so it comes to the summary of this section, this summarization section. All right, we're going to summarize the summarization section. All right, so we now know why is it that we need summarization, right? Routing table small, more efficient routing. Packets are less, they're not that big because I have to send a whole bunch of stuff. All right, just send one. How to summarize multiple networks? We broke it down. We took that third octet and we broke it into binary. When we found that uncommon bit values, we drew a line right there. That's our new mask. Anything to the left of the line that's on, all the way down, you gotta put it there. If it's not, it's 0. Okay? And then we used the summary address that we found in the lab. We actually advertised it through an interface to the core router, and you saw that it went from a whole bunch of subnets that it learned through EIGRP, it went to 3 that it learned to EIGRP. And that's the whole point. That's the whole point of summarization. All right? Can't get any simpler than that. Binary is the way to go. I'll see you in the next one.